Look there on the Juju's with Thresh. Cannot defend her. I cannot believe.
It's got to be the game.
I can
Let
the final.
Mickey Well gets in behind him, trying to turn it his way. Wave onto everyone. Triple kill for Reindeer and Mickey Well, last man standing. It's a slugfest. Double kill, triple kill, double kill, quadra kill, double kill, triple kill. My God, that was amazing.
Hooks on, Big Swift has gone mega, but they kill the support. Can't connect the chain, and Destiny, Hook is on. Swiffer is dead, Ray locks down Raze. Trippies gets that kill, and Spurs is stuck between the entire Wolfpack. Double kill for Fantics, they're running towards the Nexus.
Hello and welcome to the OPL Week 6, day number 3, Headspace Round Super Week still coming at you. You can see the Kappa logo on the new Sin Gaming jerseys. They're going to be taking on the Chiefs Esports Club, boys in blue.
New hair.
New hair for Dos.
Hey,
you like
good. Yeah, it's gone blonde.
He certainly has. Hello everyone, I'm Jake Spawn Tiberi. Joining me is Bryce, Agent Paul on the desk. It's been a long couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Day 6, we've gone the full distance. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty tired, honestly. We've seen a lot of games. We've seen some spicy upsets. Things like Legacy versus Direwolves. That was just yesterday.
Yeah, exactly right.
Seen some interesting stuff. That was completely unexpected. Legacy looked shaky, but then take it to the top dogs.
They should have actually won that game.
They should have.
Legacy were up. They had a Baron. Everything was going in their favor. They had the exhaust Fiora, and then unfortunately Direwolves just absolutely come back.
I can empathize, man. That's a tough game to lose, to be honest, for mentality. That one hurts.
Yeah, it certainly did. However, let's take a look at the week's schedule on Friday night. Cast your mind way back a couple of nights. It was Chiefs taking down Tectonic 2-0 before Order took down Sin Gaming. Of course, then Order played the back-to-back and were able to beat Avant before Direwolves took down Legacy. It's just been red side all week.
Yeah.
See where the trend continues, because it's going to be the Chiefs Esports Club taking on Sin Gaming before Bombers take on Tectonic in what will be a very spicy matchup, as one of these teams must win.
They have to win. They're both sitting on 1 point right now. Will the Bombers take off, Jake?
I don't know.
You think you didn't make the pun? This is the first. I feel like this is the first week where you haven't made the Bombers
Well, I feel like
take
the
off.
plane has been grounded for a long time.
It's just not expected to take off?
Yeah, I mean, they've had engine troubles. They've, had a couple of, just tarmacs have been full. Air control won't let them get up there. So, eventually, the plane has to take off, surely.
I mean, surely, but if you look at their schedule, they've actually got Tectonic. Obviously, they've playing them today, but then next week Sin, and then they got Chiefs Legacy. So I feel like if they're not winning the games this week and then next week, it looks in pretty rough stead for them in terms of just picking up a win overall.
Yeah, exactly right. They're going to have to try and win all their games if they have any chance of making a late push. However, guys, before we get into game number 1, let's throw it over to Laura, who actually has a couple of friends on the Analyst Hangout today.
Thank you very much, Jake. That's right. I'm joined not by one, but 2 guests on the Analyst Hangout today, Parbu and Coach Charlie. Welcome to the couch. Parbu, we've had you before, but Charlie, this is your first time.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
And I also just heard you turned 21 recently. Happy birthday. How was your birthday?
Thanks, it was great. Yeah, I went back to Melbourne, saw my girlfriend, saw my family, had a good time.
Sounds like it was a good time. Charlie will also be answering all of your questions today later on. So if there's anything you'd like to ask the Avant coach, send them over to us on Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag #LikeNoOther. And if your question's picked, you could end your week with a mystery skin, which sounds like a pretty good deal to me. But guys, our first series of the day, Sin going up against Chiefs. And we saw Sin give Order a bit of a rough time in the early game in game 1 in their series earlier this week. And we've seen they have a very aggressive play style in their early game. On the other side, though, the Chiefs had a very clean one-sided series against Tectonic. Charlie, I might start with you. What are your thoughts on this upcoming series?
Yeah, I think it's hard to deny that Chiefs are the better team overall, individual players, and they seem to come more prepared to the games as well. I think if Sin are going to win a game or will take the series at all, I think it's going to be down to their early game, and it's going to be down to their 2 solo laners and their wacky picks. They have a lot of stuff like Yasuo, Urgot, some weird stuff that they can pull out, but yeah, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, specifically, Praetor versus Swiper is possibly the matchup where they could actually get things happening. I don't see them actually being able to get much out of the mid lane. Tommy's been playing really well. Ryoma is really good right now. So if anything, they're going to be pulling matchups from the top lane, and maybe they can get some counter picks up there and start something through the top lane.
With all that in mind, guys, who are you going to give this series to? What's your prediction?
Chiefs 2-0.
Yeah, Chiefs are going to probably get a clean 2-0 here, I reckon.
I'm going to give this 2-0 to the Chiefs as well. But guys, since it is our important Headspace round, please don't forget that Headspace will be hosting an online chat with League of Legends players next Tuesday, well, this Tuesday, the 27th of February, between 7 and 8 p.m. over at eHeadspace. More information on that chat can be found at headspace.org.au/League of Legends. Parvu, Charlie, thank you so much for your thoughts on this first series. But to get the show on the road, let's hand it back over to Jake and Bryce.
Thank you so much. So a couple of 2-0 tips for the Chiefs coming into this matchup. Of course, you guys can have your say at home as well. Head over to opltips.com.au. Lock in who you think is going to win. You can get some sweet Hungry Jacks gift cards as well as some EXP boosts and RP cards. Buy yourself a couple of new skins. Also, just take to social media and let them know whether you think they're right or wrong. Sim Gaming fans, have a little bit of a voice. 2-0 against your boys, it's rough.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'd have to match the bets as well. Chiefs 2-0. Like, what are you thinking? You think Cena going to take it?
You're going to match it. You played for the Chiefs Esports
Club
last
I like
year.
how you just
However,
dodged
let's
the
get into
question
game
again.
number 1. It's going to be Sin
What?
Gaming taking on the boys in blue, the Chiefs Esports Club. And I think when you have a look at this game, Sin's rookies have actually been performing quite well for me. Bedoink, maybe a little bit more up and down, but has had some shining moments. Dream looked very good against Order.
Yeah.
I think it's the rest of the lineup. It's the veterans that need to step up if they have a chance to win this game.
That's the big thing. I think they do rely on Juice, the veteran of that roster, but prayed if someone Parbu highlighted on the couch. Really, we do need to see some good things out of him. We've seen him pick up some weird things, Yasuo, Lucian like that in the top lane, but not to a great amount of success. But I feel like if you take a look at the other side of the coin, Swiper, top laner for the Chiefs, hasn't been performing too well overall. Not like he's bad. Everybody knows what Swiper does with the rock in the top, but I feel like this could potentially be a game for Praetor to step up.
Yeah, and we've talked about, members of Sin that need to step up. At the same time, I feel like we have to do the same to the Chiefs. They're in a good position. They're third on the ladder. They can actually go to equal second, minus head-to-head against Direwolves if they're able to pick up a 2-0. However, it looks like Babip as well as Swiper are playing okay League of Legends and need to start playing great League of Legends if this is a championship team.
But I did highlight the Rengar pick from Babip, and after that game he has looked good, had a good performance this weekend on the Kha'Zix as well, so I feel like potentially for the young gun in the jungle in Babip for Chiefs, this could be, like we're looking at him, he could be on a bit of an upswing.
Okay, cool. We'll see whether he's able to continue that. Of course, the patch might suit him next week as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
As wards start getting taken away, things like the Nidalee Rengar as well as Kha'Zix probably going to rise to a little bit more favor.
Yeah, just bring back all the solo queue jungle picks. Bring back some damage. No Sejuani, no Zac. Nothing like that. Get the Gragas out of there. Just deal lots of damage and kill people.
No, I reckon Gragas will still be all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm calling it. I think Gragas is the one tank jungler. The jungle's quick enough that Wars doesn't really impact him. I want to talk about the decisive playmaking points for both these teams, however. You were the decisive playmaking support on the Chiefs. They've replaced you with Destiny, who was also
he's
a
been doing
very
it.
big let's go forward. Juice at the same time, for Sim plays a similar role. These are two teams that, whilst they do get multiple layers of engage, actually use single point engage more than any team, I feel.
And I feel like it's pretty interesting. Yesterday we saw that Legacy versus Direwolf series, and those teams stack up, you mentioned, like fairly evenly. They try to do the same sort of things, and I think that's where we fall on this matchup as well. As Juice has got your back, by the way, with his little wristband there, but Sin versus Chiefs, I feel like they're two definitely very heavy team fight teams, and they kind of play that style. And Sin is showing that they can stand up at least in the early game against a team like Order who plays that style as well. So you have to think they should be doing okay versus Chiefs.
And we'll see whether they can. It's going to be Sin Gaming starting on the blue side. Praetor is their top laner. Jubes is their captain shot caller. And 6'4" jungler. It's going to be Bedoink in the mid lane. Dream their AD carry. And Kuden their support, of course. Vicarious their coach. That's going to be putting it all together for the boys from Sim Gaming. They're going up against the Chiefs. Swiper is their rock in the top. Babip, their superstar young jungler. Ryoma in the mid lane. Raze and Destiny make up two halves of a very spicy bottom lane at the moment, of course. Fantix is their perfect coach.
They talked about themselves as being the most aggressive. They're trying to put the, they're doing some weird stuff. They're doing those cheeky ganks where like they kind of like push in the wave and then float into the jungle and just sit in the tri bush, and they want to like kind of get behind you as you are trying to get to lane. So they're trying to put their name in there.
Yeah, I think they certainly are, and I think that that's good. I think that at the moment in Oceania, what we've shown is like linear game styles don't necessarily work all the time because the mistakes still creep into the gameplay. So what you need to do, you need to look to spice it up a little bit, look to exploit disadvantages in certain matchups. Especially they do it well.
Especially in the bottom lane. We saw yesterday, I'm about to roast AV as we got two members of AV on the couch.
That's all right. Neither of them are their bottom lane, so I'm not sure they'll mind all that much.
They're picking like these very hard to execute bot lanes, like the Morgana, the Janna, and as soon as you do fall behind in those matchups, it's just so hard. You have to play perfectly on the nice edge. I kind of say it's like SKT can pull off like a no-tank composition, and it's good if you can, but if you make a single mistake, it just backfires horrendously. And I feel like that's what we've seen out of of some experimentation in the bot lane for OPL teams.
Absolutely agree. And Tectonic did it against the Chiefs as well. And Destiny and Raze actually really made them punish for it. I mean, that was just a straight 2v2 level 3 solo kill that they had onto Tilting Janna. So I don't think it's necessarily just an AV problem.
Oh, yeah, no.
I think it is a wide OPL problem right now as we do jump into Champions Select. Game 1, it's going to be Sin Gaming taking on the Chiefs Esports Club. I'm a big fan of the orange of Sin Gaming. It's kind of, it went from the bright orange to like
it's got like more
dusky, like,
yeah, okay, more of a sunset.
Yeah, sunset orange. That's a good way to put it.
Okay, I like that one. See if we see many changes up.
Actually banned Talia.
Yeah,
he's done it. No Katarina ban. It is actually going to be
past the first one. Yeah, great.
That was a test,
and he's passed it.
He has.
100%. Great job. Great stuff already.
And it's really hard to go into a Super Week and say we are going to improve on things day to day because really you don't have that much time to practice. But we can see that has not held up here as the draft has immediately got better. Nah, and Gangplank going to be taken away as well.
Nah, the big thing, Swiper not going to be on his one trick. He's shown kind of off the top meta champions. Like once they get taken off the table, he's willing to play weird things. We've seen him on the Kled. I mean, that was a successful game. Pretty weird. He's played his Camille as well. Hasn't looked too great, to be honest, overall. But
he was very vocal that his Camille looks much better in Scrim.
Yeah, that's the
Take
thing.
that as a grain of salt. He said it on the broadcast. I mean, we don't really like to talk about Scrims all that much because we don't get to watch him. But he said that his Camille has been good. He just hasn't been able to execute it on stage.
Yep. See, the Katarina hover will come through. Great with a little bit of a throwback. But yeah, it's pretty interesting in terms of transitioning things from Scrims onto stage. And we do see...
Did you ever have a problem with it?
Kalista is available. I want to see if people do actually pick that one up.
Did you ever have problems with, you know, you could play things in scrims and when you got on stage, like, because you always say scrims are a little bit messier, right?
Yep.
And then when people get on stage, they clean up the play and play a little bit more reserved. Did you felt that impacted or did you, like, ever get, like, stage nerves or things like that?
I feel like it was biggest when I competed overseas against teams that I wasn't as familiar with. Obviously, Chiefs were pretty successful in the last couple of years, and I felt like I was always pretty confident in my ability to do things domestically, but then internationally against opponents that I didn't know as well, didn't know how they played. Nerves do play a much more significant factor there.
Yeah, very interesting as we see Kelly Ali locked in right now for the Chiefs.
Kelly Star.
Very nice, and it's going to be a Tristana Braum lane, which has also seen a lot of play lately.
And I mean,
locked in.
Tristana has looked good for Dream. Braum suits Kuden's playstyle, pretty defensive support, and as I mentioned, Dream has been popping off on this Tristana, and that's one of those picks that can match in the early game. But also, if Chiefs just mess up in the mid game, we've seen so many teams do it in the OPL. If they make a mistake, Tristana is one of those champions that if she just wins a team fight, that's a big swing point. You get a Baron, like you can end the game.
She's like the infinite scaler.
Yep.
She actually just keeps getting better and better and better as you start changing out items. She can go things like 100% crit build, and I mean, she's a very good late game carry. It's going to be Rise picked up by Ryoma, one of his better champions as well. So Sejuani Gragas banned away by the Chiefs, and it's going to be Skarner. What else is there left in the jungle, really?
I mean, Juice has played Jarvan. He's played a little bit of Kha'Zix here and there, but a lot of jungle bans.
Do they take away the Kha'Zix?
I mean, interesting, they do.
Boom, there it is.
Yep. Barbip has shown he can play off-meta things like the Rengar.
Yeah, I wonder if he goes towards that right now. It would be good. 1-3-1 comp with Rengar attacking the side lanes is always nice, and it's very hard to dive Kalista Ali.
Yeah, and obviously Chiefs on the red side can hold their last pick. Be interesting to see if they hold it for top lane for that counter pick versus Praetor for Swiper, or if they do kind of sneak something into the jungle here, hold it for Barbip.
Maybe a Nunu would be good, actually, because I'm already looking at it. You could have a very good Kalista if you lock that in. However, it's just going to be a Jarvan. Champion we've seen absolutely plummet in popularity so far.
Yeah, but with the rest of them banned away, honestly, I wouldn't have liked the Nunu, to be honest. With the Kalista, I feel like it's slightly wasted. I mean, like, you don't really pick her for the late game scaling anyway. You're kind of like buffering her weaknesses. Rather, if you just get Jarvan, you can get some early kills and start that snowball. I feel like I like it much more. I feel like it can be much more effective.
I was just thinking, like, I understand the late game scaling, not necessarily there, as we're going to see an Ornn and a Camille locked in. So a jungle Camille coming out of Juice.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is Kalista, if she gets first to objectives, does them really well.
Yep.
And that's where Nunu comes in, is like you actually close the game out earlier because Nunu can tank things like Baron, like Dragons, at the 20-minute mark, whereas Jarvan definitely not going to be able to do that after the nerf.
Absolutely not. Swiper cycling through a few of his old pickups here. Does he actually lock in the Rumble? Probably going to go towards that Sion into the Camille.
Actually, surprised they went with Ornn in the top lane, given Sion's rise to popularity. We've said that he's kind of become the new Ornn in the lane bully tank in the top.
But it also kind of doesn't make sense to take the Ornn when you already have picked away the Braum. If you can kind of flip this matchup and you get the Sion, and then you kind of force Swiper into picking that Ornn into you. And I feel like you do have that extra kind of buffer of defensibility coming out from that Braum wall. But they don't opt for that one. Praedyth obviously more comfortable on the on there, so wants to
that's
take
what it
that
might
one.
be. I mean, Sim played on Friday, so they haven't seen this whole patch run out. They played Game 2 Friday, so potentially, you know, misread the Scion as something that maybe they weren't all that interested in. Once again, second game of Super Week, we're like, how can you not play Scion because it's the end of the week, but potentially not going to be the case.
I mean, and you say misread, and it might not even be that. Obviously, we can talk about speculation, but straight up, Praedyth is a player that's always traditionally played like things like split pushes, and he's also just played weird things all the time. We've seen the Lucian already, so it can just be straight up player preference, especially in a matchup like Sin versus Chiefs. Obviously, Sin extremely far down the ladder comparatively to the boys in blue, so he's just sort of going back to comfort on a big game for the boys.
And I like that. I think that is underrated, what you've just said, being comfortable in what you're playing. The team knowing how to execute around Ornn's engages, especially with something like a Braum. I think that is very valuable feedback coming out.
Taking a look at the perfect player, Quinny K. Rays said in his interview last weekend, he wants to take the mantle of Raider, said that nobody really in the Oceanic AD carry scene has stepped up to be the one. Do you agree with him? I feel like, yeah, FBI, Rays and King are all big AD carries. Obviously Lost, I feel like last year was kind of the be-all and end-all, but obviously now competing over in the NA Academy scene, so Raider had a very long tenure at the top. Lost basically had a year, so you can't quite give him that mantle just yet.
See whether he can achieve that. I'm sure Dream is another young AD carry that would love it as his team, Sin Gaming, stream onto Summoner's Rift for Game 1 against the Chiefs Esports Club. Let's check in with Laura and Vicarious to hear some more about these drafts.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here alongside Vicarious. The Chiefs are a big opponent to end your Super Week on. What words of wisdom or advice did you give them before heading into today's game?
I think Chiefs is going to be a tough game, but probably not as tough as Order. And obviously before that we played against the Direwolves. So I think this game actually, relatively, we think it's going to be an easier game. And basically I just told them to play calm and collected.
We saw quite a few jungle bans coming out this game. Do you think the Chiefs were trying to push Juves onto a champion he may not necessarily be comfortable on?
Possibly, but like coming into today's game, we do plan to play Camille, and I don't think they picked up on that. So because obviously we haven't put any priority on Camille over the last few weeks, but it is one of the Juice pocket pick. He always says that I'm the best Camille jungle in OCE because he played, I think, 50 games of Camille in the top lane before transitioning into jungle.
What is the main thing Sin have to watch out for coming into game number 1?
So I think one of the things that Chiefs does well is Swiper drawing a lot of aggro in the top lane, and the fact that he always stays in game is like becoming pretty problematic because, like, you know, you put him behind, he's still in the game. But then obviously bot side's going to have a lot of actions going on, so I think the problem might come from bot lane like snowballing very heavily, so we plan to play around bot.
Well, best of luck with this game and series, Vicarious, and thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Actually, a lot more information than Vicarious normally gives away in the interview. So always planning on picking the Camille there. Thinks that Chiefs are going to look to snowball bot. You can see they've already denied 1 CS of experience from Dream and 2 from Kuden.
Yeah, that's a big deal, especially going against the alley. So much level 2 presence coming out. He has the Ignite, and Kalista obviously get those red stacks. Can flash forward, commit to a kill. See how it does play out. They're going to hit level 2 off this creep. Destiny walking up. He is in range of Kuden.
They must know this is coming, so Dream can just back away.
Obviously didn't want to commit onto the Brawl and much rather get onto the Tristana, so unfortunately couldn't get that one.
And Dream, he's picked himself up a shield.
Yeah.
The buckler.
And are you a fan?
Into an aggressive lane. I think that this is the way you win versus Kalista.
Yep.
You just don't interact with her. You refuse to play her game, which is, you know, 1, 2, 3 item bully. Then when you get your 3 items, you just team fight.
The big thing right now, if you take a look at the CS numbers, 5 to 14, obviously this wave will crash. Right, Tristana, very early in the game. Very difficult to CS under turret because your E satchel does that AoE explosion, can mess up your CSing here and there. So if you get pushed in later in the lane, you can kind of play around it because you have more abilities. Kuden is a bit more tanky to kind of stand up to the harass, but this early they do lose quite a lot under the turret.
Yeah, certainly do right now. You can see Babip going for an early invade, got that super leash from Sion. It's so weird to say that starting, you know, top side of the map is actually quicker, but Sion's hammer does so much damage early in the game. However, it does cost Swiper a pot as well as about a 7 CS lead in the top lane. See, potentially Juve's going to look for the Chiefs top laner right now. This knock-up lands, he'll go in.
Oh, he does.
Very nicely done from Praedyth. Lands that one. Juve's is going to have to flash at the minimum. It's going to just be Juve's walking towards Swiper. Flash forward. No, he doesn't even use it. Just goes off the turret. And maybe he was right. Maybe he is the best top laner. Sorry, best jungle Camille. We'll have to just back away.
He's getting whacked away. He had the flash. He had his flash available, and he literally just died to the Scion zombie.
What is going on there?
That was dumb. Honestly, what the hell?
I wasn't even talking about it because I was like, he's just going to burn it. He's just going to burn it. That gank actually now goes against Praedyth because he died and Juves took the kill. As he should have, because he played it very well.
But I mean, like, Juves actually played that. Hold that thought. Looking for something in mid lane. CC does land. EQ for Doink.
Slides out. Nicely done.
But Juves played that really well, because you say have to burn the flash. Swiper's waiting for the hook shot to come away, but Juves just holds it.
Yep.
He flashes forward. They land the ignite. Obviously, Ornn has that spell book.
That's the old school Lee Sin thing. Never gank as Lee Sin
And
with
just
your
start
Q.
with Q, yep.
Just ward hop forward and start punching him and slowing him
Land the
down.
slow, hit him with the E.
Yeah, hit him with the E. And then afterwards, Praedyth actually swapped out his flash for a TP.
Yep.
So it gets back to lane, matches Swiper.
And that's it's kind of like a more general thing. When you're chasing someone and they're just running, they can run in a straight line, and that's obviously the fastest way to get away. But when you hold your skill shot, they're just like juking left and right. They're kind of walking diagonal all the time. And obviously, it does mean you can close the gap much easier. So Juves gets the successful gank. Praedyth kind of throws it away, but first blood did go over to Sin.
Exactly right, and it's still first blood as well as an assist, so overall more gold by that 200 gold mark. You can see mid lane has got a little bit of a CS advantage. Juves is actually on a ward right now, doesn't have the flash, so not going to be able to make this gank work. Maybe just looking for a counter gank, trying to get Bedoink a recall in.
Yeah, but the big thing for Bedoink is he didn't have to burn either summoner to get out of that one. The CC from the Rise not quite long enough for the Jarvan EQ to land, so Juves, as you mentioned, was just applying some pressure so that Ryoma backs off a little bit, but Doink going to go for the recall.
Juves has actually just been spotted for about the last 30 seconds of his walk, just pings that ward. So we'll be able to go towards top side of the jungle, potentially look for Swiper again, who has no flash.
And that's the thing, no flash available for the Scion, and that pink is also in the river that he hasn't cleaned out. Swiper's attempting to push the wave in, but this is the time where that ward needs to be cleared. Potentially Ryoma walking up, looking for something, might just look for some vision.
Yeah, you can see no mana right now on Praedyth, means that he is in potential dive range. Swiper goes in, he hits him with the ultimate. You can see Praedyth headbutts the turret, but the chain CC will be there. Swiper not taking enough to hold it, so Praedyth will live.
Yeah, it was half HP, no mana. Obviously burnt that flash for the TP to get back to lane, so didn't have that defensive summoner available, but does hold on here, but see if Sin can make anything happen. Juves is looking for the Scion, but doesn't commit. He knows Ryoma on the Rise is around. They don't have vision of him right
Juves
now, but it does give him mid
up
priority.
that Raptor camping. You can see better than that gives bottom lane priority. Very nicely done from Kunin to get the shield up, but Raze and Destiny play that one well. Destiny will fall down. No, actually, we'll just get the heal. Still falls down. So that's a 1-for-1 trade. Now Babip is here.
Has flash. Can he
Kunin
flash the
tags
combo
him
out
up.
of Babip?
Can he? Yeah, does go towards it. Actually flashes on top of Raze as well. Raze still
Raze
looking to pull the twigs out. He gets executed. Babip might actually die here as well. Goes for it, flashes out.
No,
just lives with a shield.
What is going on with these dives? Top lane unsuccessful there, but that one right there, well played out of Raze and Destiny on the upfront engage. Destiny actually can get the kill there with the Ignite, but also the E-Snipe. Of course, Brawn Wall does not block any of that damage, so they pick it up, but just commit slightly too hard. Both of them go down to the turret. Luckily for the Chiefs, Raze was actually an execute, so not really any gold going over for that one, but
yeah, because there is a potential that if Braum gets 2 kills there, he becomes real tanky, and just the harass no longer starts to stick. You can see right now Ryoma and Destiny looking for some deep vision into Juves' jungle. He has level 6. Has gone for what looks to be the makings of his Warrior enchant versus Cinder Hulk for Jarvan. Kuda now going to try and clear out some of this vision.
We'll get the pink, but won't be able to find the one on his red buff. So Juves walking to that will be spotted out, as we mentioned. But this is kind of what you expect out of a Sin early game, honestly. They want to implement a little bit of chaos here. Chiefs are, I think, the Titan in this matchup. Everyone did tip them 2-0 in this series, but right now, looking fairly even between the two. Yeah,
certainly is. Juves going for a very greedy clear on his jungle right now. Goes for his red into Krugs, potentially going to look bottom lane, given the fact that a couple of summoner spells were burnt, but flashes are still available from both Destiny and Raze.
Not to mention Destiny not yet level 6, will be hitting that one soon, but still has the stopwatch for that extra safety. So if he can dodge out of the CC, can get out of the Camille ulti to lock him down. Of course, this lane is fairly hard to gank after 6, because Kalista can rip out the alley.
Yep.
And obviously the alley lends some safety to the Kalista. You can knock away the jungler, knock away the Braum. If they don't actually land any instant CC, you have to think they will be fine.
Yeah, so, but Juves, as I said, he was just going for a greedy clear. He goes one camp. I thought he was actually going to complete that recall, refill his refillable potion up.
And then just go topside.
And then go topside. However, not the case at all.
Infernal Drake has spawned on the bottom-hand side of the map as well. Will be the first one. So Expect to see some early team fights around that. Right now, bottom lane playing defensive. Double combo.
Kuden actually gets hit by that one. Means Scream has to flash. Very nice Buster Shop. However, Destiny's still going in. Raze will be stunned up here. Underneath the turret. Gets ulted as well. Gets the kill, but Raze should fall down. And Destiny now taking a lot of damage. TP coming out. Can the stun come here? And you can see, will hit. Will be able to take it down. Kuden shouldn't have taken that kill, but very nicely played by Sin.
Yeah, but honestly, a bit of a misplay out of Raze and Destiny. The second Destiny flashed forward, he wanted to hit the auto slap on that E-proc, but gets ripped out by the Callista. That's a few seconds of CC. They deny themselves, and then they trade the kills to Sin.
And this teleport actually will net them the Infernal Drake. So even though Kuden takes that kill, it's still worthwhile for Praetor up in that top lane. Always nice to get a scaling Drank, whether you're a tank, whether you're a carry.
Not to mention, Babip is actually on the bottom-hand side of the map, was walking down to that play, but couldn't quite get there, which means top side, Swiper can't even answer with the turret. They could 2-for-1 that turret, rotate Ryoma up there, but they don't. So they're just going to steal away the blue buff, so Infernal Drake going over to Sin after that.
Potentially going to look for it, but at the same time, they won't challenge. I was going to say, Ornn is coming. They've got an Azir for maybe some poke damage, however. They just give that one over. They know Infernal Drake in the long run is going to be more impactful than one blue buff.
Yeah, it's interesting so far. We've seen the alley on Destiny actually took Aftershock, right? We've seen a lot of Spellbook alleys for that. Obviously, you sack a little bit of damage in the lane, but they've been playing this very aggressively. With the Callista, they want that early advantage, but right now, they do have 2 kills, but I feel like overall, the lane is fairly even. CS is in favor of the Callista, but Tristana just scales so well.
Yeah, exactly right. And the thing is that Tristana's behind, sure, but she's not yet out of the game.
Yep.
And I feel like that is the win condition for Callista comps at the moment. Get them out of the game, because Callista's not going to be able to touch Bedoink or Dream as this game progresses. And when you don't have access to either of the carries, what are you going to be doing? Hitting Kuden, hitting Praetor, maybe looking to try and 1v1 Juves on the back end of the fight becomes very difficult to navigate. And this is why we've seen Callista actually begin to fall out of the meta.
I mean, not to mention as well, he's gone for the upgraded Xerxes Breeze. So he spent a ton of gold into that one. And then the magical footwear coming out of Dream means he might just actually match a single item. He finishes that IE at a similar time to Raze, picking up that Bork. I feel like that's one of the biggest breakpoints for the Callista is those early items. They are cheaper overall than the traditional crit 80 carries.
Yep. She kind of needs boots too at the moment, however. She feels real clunky without them. I don't actually know what the change was, but I'm not a massive Callista player, but it just feels slightly strange. There's a pick ward dropped at a turret for some reason.
So far, Chiefs actually still applying a lot of pressure to the bottom lane. They have gone slightly wrong here and there, but Ryoma is constantly floating down, has the priority over Bedoink in the mid lane. There's a little bit of a CS lead as well as he forced him back to base. Bedoink just going to walk out.
Yeah, Sin kind of reading that this is going to be a 4-man dive down in the bottom lane. They
Juice
might just look
here.
to collapse on the 2, however, that can't get there in time. See whether they go over the wall. No, they call it off.
Yeah, they were looking for the play. We saw that backfire for Legacy yesterday. But of course, vision over the wall means they spot out what Sin were going to do. Bedoink was walking from base over there. If they did get onto the jungler for Chiefs, could have spelt disaster, but everyone just kind of backs away from the play. Vision showing what everyone's plans were.
Praetor actually goes with an aggressive build right now. He's going with an Iceborne Gauntlet versus what is just the Abyssal Mask picked up for Swiper. Actually doing some counter jungling of his own at the moment. I like to see this out of a top laner. Nothing more frustrating as a jungler than watching solo lanes come in and take your stuff.
But Babip answers with the big one. Ryoma's looking for something.
Swiper's coming down the river. Praetor needs to take that one up. He does. Chain CC is there. That actually might be Praetor falling down. And Bedoink just leaves him.
And I feel like greedy use of his flash there. Just didn't use it at all. Could have gotten over the wall. Of course, Sion would just whack into that one and the play would have fizzled. Held on to his life there. But he does fall down. That will give Swiper some alone time with the turret in the top lane once again. But Bip looking for more.
Engage here. Realm Warp going to come in. Juice has to flash. Gets over the wall. Very nice ultimate from Kuden. Door comes up at the perfect time. Potentially re-engage here. Ryoma gets slowed down. In goes Bedoink. However, that will be the flash and the Ghost Burn. Teleport coming in. Huge flash knock up into the Cataclysm. Dodges out of that one. And you can just see stuck in the Cata. Now Dream has to hop over the wall. Chiefs Esports pick up 2 free kills and now we'll look towards turrets.
And a nice turn from Chiefs. Raze wasn't even in the play, but they flashed out of the ulti coming from the Azir. The choke. Juice is just so incredibly low, so he goes down early. But Bip, you mentioned, was just actually stuck between the Cataclysm and the wall, but just held it because he wanted to hold down the members of Sin. They pick up another nice couple of kills for themselves. But they opt for the tempo play, not looking for the damage on the turret. They just want to recall. Of course, IE is picked up by the Tristana. He wants to match with the Bork.
Yeah, that's super interesting right now because their waves were okay. Take another look at the play.
Yeah, we see it again. Bedoink looking for that engage. If he can actually get onto multiple members, and this is the big thing, but Bip, double EQ flash, onto multiple members of Sin, locks everyone down. So much AoE CC coming out of the Chiefs lineup. You have Ali, you have the Jarvan, and Sin carries can't just output enough damage.
Yeah, and the big thing about Azir Wall is it's no longer just the perpetual bouncy castle.
Yep.
You see actually lane swap coming out of the Chiefs. This is really interesting because I think Tristana actually can kill this turret a little bit quicker. Sion not yet down there, and they do have the Ornn ult to just be able to delay one wave. See whether they can actually get first brick here.
Yeah, potentially. The turret top is incredibly low. Juice is going up there to try and stall. The ulti does come out from the Ornn. They're looking for it, and Babip is nowhere to be found right now. Praedyth and Juice will be in a 2v2 at least for another couple of moments, but Sion and Ryze are defending bot lane.
Yeah, see whether they can actually stop this turret going down on the bottom lane. However, Kuden will have to burn the flash. Short Realm Warp will come in and potentially will not be far enough as now Bedoink has to cheat into the wave.
Yep,
Teleport
TP.
also being channeled down here. Think that has to be a cancel.
No,
it will not. They're going to
no
commit
ulti.
to it. No ulti, as you mentioned. You can just see they're maybe going to play for this wave. Chiefs definitely win the race.
Yeah, 100%. Sin just going to take the consolation prize, you have to think, but no. Praedyth is looking for the recall. Juice is actually doing a camp. So nice defense out of the Chiefs. Both solo laners come down to this bot lane. They hold on to the turret for long enough, and that's what we were mentioning. Tristana should traditionally win the race. Kalista only does 0.9% of her damage on auto attacks, not even the full 100. But because that turret in the top lane was so low, they take it down first.
I think it also just wasn't a real defense. They could have thrown Camille over the wall, could have looked for a potential 2v2 fight, something like that. However, the fact that already Ryze had gone into that bottom lane, they had to channel the TP, there was no play.
And that's the thing, I feel like they were trying to bait in the bot lane of Chiefs onto Praedyth, and then Jews would come over, like force the play, 2v2, look for the kill. But unfortunately, Chiefs are just more interested in first brick. They don't actually opt in for the fight. Smart play out of them, they just want the objective. We've seen that backfire in multiple OPL teams. They take up first brick. Next dragon is spawning. Will be the Ocean.
This is the thing about Sion. This is why we saw it in the Gigabyte Marine comps. He actually 2v1's relatively okay.
Yep.
Just kicks creeps at you.
I mean, especially when he's 3-1-0, already completed Boots' first item, sitting pretty tanky right now. Not to mention Braum Tristana. The most aggressive 2v1.
We'll see right now. Babip looking to control the map. The Chiefs are up about 4,000 gold, looking to grab themselves a Rift Herald for their troubles. Apart from that one Infernal Drag, this early game has gone relatively to plan. Maybe a little bit more sloppy than they would like, but still okay.
I feel like time after time, things have just gone slightly in favor of the Chiefs. These engages, they net themselves another extra kill. They can get a little bit more damage onto the turret, so they're ahead in that department. Sin looking to equalize right now, but that is the Rift Herald pop. They're looking for mid.
Yeah, that should actually be mid lane turret just going down. No contest. See whether the clap comes out from Sin. Try and pincer something here if they just leave it.
Juice is actually all the way in bot defending his bottom lane, so he's actually going for the recall here. They could look for another one. They're looking for Praedyth.
Praedyth actually going to fall down here. Just once again walking through a jungle where he has absolutely no business being. Now 0-3-2. We said that the veterans of Sin Gaming need to step up, and Praedyth at the moment is just getting camped.
Yeah, it looks like Chiefs just slightly quicker on the engages. Sin have been trying to match on the other sides of the lane. Like you said, Swiper so good at holding under that outer turret, and Chiefs just slightly quicker on the execution. They find these picks earlier. Sin have to be the reactive team. And now the 4,000 gold lead in favor of Chiefs approaching 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly right. You can see the items are starting to come through for Raze. He's got himself the Hurricane.
Yep.
He's got himself that Blade of the Ruin King. At the same time, in the mid lane, you're going to have a Ryze sitting on Abyssal Mask, nearly an Archangels as well. Everything just coming online for a 2-item comp. And really, if this game doesn't go for an extended amount of time, you really feel like the damage has now been done.
Yeah, 100%. They just have so many engage tools. Jarvan, Sion, Alistar. Chiefs, we mentioned, are that team fight team. They're looking to hit mid-game with those item spikes, looking to roll over the lineup of Sin. They just have all the tools available. Flashes up everywhere. So you have to think in the next few minutes, they can look for whatever they want.
However, Sin trying to just trade the outer turrets for non-gold objectives. That's an Ocean Drake, so if they're able to pick this one up, would be a good thing for top lane turret. You can see 3 members of the Chiefs potentially going to look to defend up there. Actually, Ryoma going to face check Jude. That's a Hextech ultimatum. Dodges out on the spells. A lot of damage. The Ram gets called over the wall. In the end, has to flash away. Flash forward out of Dream. No, it is not enough. So they re-ping the turret.
If he could just get one more auto attack on that satchel, he would have fallen down. No defensive summoner available for Ryoma. Has that Ghost and the Flash with the spellbook. So Sin just going to try and go back to this top lane turret, but Chiefs setting up on the bottom-hand side of the map. But Bip is already in the jungle, and the bot lane is rotating down to this turret.
Yeah, I mean, that turret should fall. There's no way that Sin can really contest it, so I feel the fact They got a heal as well as a flash out of Ryoma. Should have actually been the end of the play. I don't think Dream should chase that one. I mean, I understand you want to start snowballing the game back in your favor, but when you are 4,000 gold down with a better scaling comp,
you just want to sit back. You want those summoners to play defensive.
Potential ult going to come out here. This is the good play. They will get this stun. They will chain the CC. They will be able to pick up a kill. No, he pushes him to safety again. We see this so many times, and Swiper picks up a kill in response, and now the Chiefs are collapsing. Good buffering there as Dream finally gets slowed. No Buster Shot available. He's going to fall down. And what looked like was going to be a great play, just Buster Shot again. And Juves, 3 of them are going to fall for this. That is such a bummer.
And that is a tilt play there out of Sin. So 3 members dead already. And what they're setting up, when Chiefs set up the proactive play, they're just working. When Sin try to do it, they just fizzle barely. They caught out Ryoma the first time. He flashes to safety. Dream burns his heal. You have to think, he wouldn't have had to look for this ulti if he had that flash available, or could keep walking forward, dealing that damage. He thought he was dead. Buster shots him away. That shield.
He didn't need to look for it anyway. That's just an auto attack range. You know the teleport's coming in. Use your Buster Shot to get rid of the Scion, to get rid of the Yellow Star.
Yeah, he thought, kind of got baited by the Rise Shield there. Was incredibly low. 1 auto and ulti's worth of damage would have taken him down, but unfortunately that comes through. That means Swiper lands, can CC them enough for the rest of the members for Chiefs. But Bip and Destiny just walking up here. Raze doesn't even want a piece of it. This is 3 tanks just chasing them down. And Raze is like, look guys, like you don't need me. I'm going to walk mid, catch the farm, hold the turret.
At this stage of the game, base damage still enough. They don't get bottom lane turret, but they do get the 3 kills. It's now a 5,000 gold lead. More importantly, experience right now is heavily in favor of the Chiefs. 2 levels for their AD carry. 2 levels for their jungler as well.
Raze is so incredibly big right now. 4, 2, and 1. Also Swiper, 5, 1, and 1. Hitting his item spikes. They're setting up around the Baron. They have that extra secure. Rise, pretty fast Baron take, but the Callista ran. They're just going to start this one up.
Yeah, this
AD
is
carry
potentially a dangerous play, however, because there is a lot of tanks coming in. You can see they're getting the spears in, and that will be the blue ward. Praedyth is going to have to teleport right now, but I feel like they can actually fight. Ward goes down into the pit as well, 5,000 damage.
Braum.
They go onto Braum. Kunin gets the shield up very late. Hextech ultimatum on the back end of that fight.
Raze.
Big on ulti onto 4 members, but it's not enough. You can see Raze actually gets shut down on the back end, and in there goes the rest of Sin Gaming. I said it wasn't going to be enough, but they've turned this fight around. Ryoma actually chased out Praedyth for the kill. Huge headbutt pulverizer. Double kill going to come across for Ryoma as he comes back into the fight with the triple. Will be able to clean it up. Looking for that final one onto Dream. He is quicker here. Eventually should catch him unless Dream can get through that base gate. Ward over the wall is not going to be enough. But I think that's a 4 for 3. You take that nearly.
Yeah, I feel like Ryoma, in the end, Chiefs do win the fight, but big misplay out of him. He actually chases Praedyth out. He's already used the Ram. He TP's in. That's all he's really got. And the carries of Sin just means they can stand there. They can auto-attack. Raze goes down just next to the Baron pit. And we mentioned it before, 3 tanks are the only guys that are left. Ryoma's chasing Praedyth back to his base, nowhere to be found. If he was around, that could have been a much cleaner fight for the Chiefs.
Yeah, it certainly could have. And this is only at 1.5 items, so we take another look.
Yeah, we talked about Tristana. These are the big swing fights, so she can pick up kills here. Raze actually goes forward into the Azir damage. I'm interested to see what he takes him down. He actually does to the Baron there. Unfortunately, the Azir soldier comes through. And this is what we're talking about. Sure, he kills the Ornn, but this is the point where he could be dealing damage. As soon as he gets back into the fight, Destiny, huge W flash Q onto 3 members, and Ryoma deals so much damage to the AoE, but if they could do that earlier, they don't lose all those deaths before it happens.
Exactly right. And the thing that you don't want is, you know, a couple of items starting to roll through. We've already talked about this. Tristana doesn't really care if
she's slightly
the Callista
behind.
is on 6 items. As long as she has 4 items, honestly,
Yep.
you nearly start taking the fights again. And that's what Sin's just got to hope for.
Not to
They've got
mention,
themselves the scaling Drake.
both of their carries are actually outranged. Rise into the Azir. If they're on even footing and the game gets to a little bit of a stalemate,
But Bip, very strange play here. Does not get stunned up, will just live, but burns the ultimate. And now in comes Scion. This is underneath the turret. Juice will get engaged on. In comes Ryoma, but big damage coming out. You can see Juice falls down. That will be potentially the successful disengage. Already exhaust used onto Ryoma. They're trying to get something here. Very low, but he is a tanky man. Do the resets start coming out? Destiny now low, has to pop the ultimate, and members of Sin are like, can someone just die to get our Tristana in? No, big combo means it now. Dream will fall low. On the back end of this fight, huge Scion hammer, and the Rise just cleans up by the skin of their teeth. Chiefs get the ace.
And once again, barely actually win that fight. It looks like the chokes favoring Sin. Dream can just auto-hit over the wall. Azir does so much damage, but eventually Chiefs finally on the back of Destiny. Once again, a big turnaround. Headbutt combo pulverizes so much of the Sin Gaming's lineup.
But you have to say, this is frustrating play coming out of Sin because they could have let him just go.
Yep.
3 members on low health. Guys, it's not our time to fight, but they give away 5 kills. They give away a Baron buff, and now they're in a 9,000 gold hole, which honestly should not exist.
And the hole just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Raze picking up a multitude of kills once again. We question, but if this Q lands from Kuden, he actually goes down that one right there. But unfortunately for Sin, he goes up, and Sion coming through from the bottom side. And this is a nice setup from Sin. Their carries can sit at the back. Ryoma comes through with the flank, and they just force him out almost immediately. Praetor CCs the members of the Chiefs. But this is where the overchase comes through. Ryoma tanky enough, lives for just long enough. And this choke kind of looks good here. Dream sitting over the wall. Destiny kind of overextends into the team. Has to burn his ulti. But this is the big play. Sin chased way too far here. Big combo onto 3 members. Ryoma is so incredibly low, but nobody can get on him. They all go onto Raze, who's full HP, and they just clean up.
Yeah, exactly right. And you feel like 1 member falling down would have mean the reset over the wall into the blue buff pit, the free hitting Tristana. But the frustration was there. It was never going to really happen. The Chiefs turn as a unit of 5. That decisive play out of Destiny really is leading the charge for the Chiefs right now.
Yeah, once again, they've gone for a little bit of a weird 2-3 split right now, but no, they just leave Swiper mid alone. He's rotating down, actually, potentially looking for a dive onto this turret. Air Drake is the one that spawns, so Chiefs have absolutely no interest in picking that one up. They want the gold from the turrets.
Because Chiefs still need to end this game.
Yep.
I mean, they're so far ahead. 10,000 gold, 25 minutes.
Oh,
as they're going to go in.
Nice
Good buffer on the CC. He will get
He's
changed here. No, gets pulled back in. You can see Kuden now in trouble. Big on-horn as they come out. Swiper buffers that ultimate. Very nicely done. Dream is going to fall down. But Doink finally uses that as ear ulti. However, they're going to look to go over with the Rise. And on the back end, it is only Praetor. It is only the tank. That'll be a triple kill picked up for Ryoma. 2 kills for Raze, and the Chiefs will look to push in an end.
And I said Destiny was dead, but he gets ripped out by the Callista. They just have so many layered engage tools. Jarvan goes in, Alistar goes in, and then Swiper comes in from the flank. Locks up everyone from Sin Gaming. That's the complete wipe.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Sin, again, they just take a fight that they had no business being in. Chiefs make them pay. 26 minutes into this game, 14,000 gold lead. And the Chiefs Esports Club will put on a commanding Game 1 performance. Stu's going to get in there, try and stop this end, but I don't really think it's going to work. You can see they're just padding their KDA, picking up a couple other kills. Dream will be able to get 1 reset. Get back to the fountain, buddy. You deserve to live, but he won't. Very nicely played.
Does pick himself up a nice little kill on the end of that game for Dream, but Chiefs commanding victory overall. Sin just seem like when they do fight against these team fight heavy teams in Chiefs in order, they can bring them down to the level. They can match them in the early game, but I feel like these teams at the top of the ladder are just slightly better at getting these small advantages off the back. They get more turret health. They can actually get an objective. They get a dragon after these fights. Then Chiefs, these small advantages just lead. They snowball. They get bigger and bigger, and eventually just too big.
And you also have to just question how willing Sin were to fight before they had items. I think that if they honestly just sacked a lot, they shouldn't have lost to that first Baron. They have an Azir. Just keep sacking, make them dive you properly, and potentially can win that game.
And that was like the big swing as soon as they got the Baron, because they were holding. That was a fight at their outer turret. Chiefs were setting up for that one. It wasn't a Azir turret, so they're kind of looking for the inner, but like, you don't care if your Azir turret gets taken down. You don't have to take that fight. We mentioned the one in bot lane as well that kind of ended the game. The Baron was the one that swung, and Chiefs were getting these small leads, and the gold lead was getting bigger and bigger, but then they jumped from 5k to 9,000, and the game is over. You have to think if Sin, as you mentioned, were just less willing to opt in for that fight. Tristana gets to 3 items. Azir was sitting on 2. If he gets a Void and starts pumping out tons of damage, it could have looked so much better for the lineup.
And you also have to just pay, I think, a little bit more close attention to how they lost control of that game. Not burning Flash off a top lane gank, so a dead Scion kills you. Off the back end of that, you don't have teleport. They're 5-man ulting you down bottom lane. There's just so many little things that you look at in that game and you say, Sin could have played it a lot cleaner, and it wouldn't have got to that stage in the first place.
Yeah, but I feel like you do also have to commend the Chiefs on that game overall. I think Destiny, one of the best supports in the region so far, has been stepping up time and time again. He was pinnacle and kind of was the first one going in at all moments. They had the Jarvan and the Cataclysm. They were playing so well around that engage, around the terrain that Jarvan builds up, and it just kind of clumps the Sin lineup together, and then Ali comes through, not even off his own combo, but off the Callista ulti, ripping him out, throwing him in, just gives him such easy access to the backline.
Yeah, just on the same page one more time, the Chiefs duo. To break that game down further, let's throw it over to Laura and the analyst guess.
Thank you very much. I'm joined once again by Charlie and Parby to talk about that game, guys. I want to start talking about Sin's draft because, Charlie, you were saying you didn't necessarily agree with Sin putting Praedyth on a tank champion and think that they should probably be trying to put him on some more carry champions.
Yeah, I think with a team like Sin, even though it may fit the current meta to play stuff like On and Sion top, I think you should be putting a lot of your like carry tools onto the top lane. I think it looks really good when Juves ganked top that lane and like, although it was a bit of a misplay, like they got him ahead a little bit, right? And he started building Iceborne, like he wanted to carry anyway. I think swap the roles around, put Juves on the tank, allow him to have this last week of going into the jungle and placing wards, and allow Praedyth to play a carry and like mix things up a little.
Unleash the man.
Yeah.
Well, we have seen Sin put all of their eggs in Praedyth's basket before. A few weeks ago, he picked Lucian in that top lane where they tried out that game plan. But Pabu, you were entertained by what you called the Chiefs' YOLO bot
I don't know.
lane.
They were really like limit testing this game. They were diving super hard. Destiny messed up watch, didn't stopwatch, but Sin played those 2v2s really well. But the Chiefs definitely were. They were testing the limits. They were playing really like almost over aggressive. They were pressing a lot of their advantages. And it was doing a lot for them. They managed to get some good leads, but if some things didn't go their way, that could have been really risky in that game. They could have really easily like thrown their main pressure point in that game, and it was really close to going really badly for them.
Yeah, the Sin bot lane definitely didn't play badly in that game. But Vicarious did say in his interview that Juves was having a bit of fun, saying he was a really good Camille because he played 50 games in the top lane. But Charlie, you weren't sure on Juves playing that Camille because of his playstyle, but also his role on the team.
Well, we just never really got to see him like do anything on Camille that game. Every time Babip would go bottom lane or make any sort of play, the cross map wasn't there from Juves. Like I want to see him doing more. I think he can play stuff like Camille, but I want him to play it more supportively.
Yeah, fair enough. And, you know, it's obviously really hard to change your issues between game 1 and 2 since there's not a lot of time. But what advice or what tips would you give to Sin right now to give them a chance to pick up a game against the Chiefs right now?
Yeah, just add chaos to the game, I think, is what they need to do. They need to start grouping earlier, taking sloppier skirmishes, and taking, go for outnumber fights. Try and fight before Chiefs can group up and start making their proactive plays together. Make less calculated plays and just give it your best go.
Yeah, play hard through the top lane. I think they can abuse Swiper. I think Praedyth and Juves can abuse Swiper. He's shown that in a lot of games, he will not respect jungle champions and not play properly around priority. So it's possible for them to pull leads out of the top lane, I think. They should really be looking towards that in the next game.
Sin have definitely bought the Fido before, and I believe that they can do it again in the next game. But before we get to game 2, we're going to continue the trend that we've been running all weekend with sharing what we do when we're not on the Rift to keep ourselves in a healthy headspace. I have Jake Spawn Tiberius right here. When he's not playing League of Legends, he likes to watch C9 Sneaky stream with his baby, Jasper. And he's like, I don't know if you can see it very well, he's got a drawing of Jasper with a little bit of hair coming out. It's very cute.
Yeah, at AV, all the boys like to go to the gym together. I go with Jake and Brucey most nights, and we'll try to get as many of the boys to go with us as possible. But yeah, we all try to go to the gym. It's a good bit of stress relief, you know, get a bit of anger out, pick some things up, push them down. But anyways, yeah, it's just like a good thing to do with the boys to get your mind off the game and really just...
The exercise doesn't help either.
That's good. Oh, exercise is good. It's good fun.
When are the videos coming back, boys?
Ooh, we're still thinking. We're still thinking. We got to craft a good spicy one, you know.
We can't half-ass it. Anyway, but yeah, mine is just spending time with people I care about. So I try and visit my family, keep in touch, visit my girlfriend in Melbourne as much as I possibly can, and yeah, just keep the contact points.
Wholesome.
It's very wholesome. Remember, guys, you can head over to ocu.lolesports.com and print one of these out yourself and join in on the fun. If you do, please send your drawings or words over to us on Twitter using the hashtag Headspace Round. We've got Game 2 coming up right now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.
They will get this stun. They will chain this EC. They will be able to pick up a kill. No, he pushes him to safety again. We see this so many times. Big Ornn ulti onto 4 members, but it's not enough. You can see Raze actually gets shut down on the back end, and in goes the Restus in gaming. I said it wasn't going to be enough, but they've turned this fight around. Ryoma actually chased out Praedyth for the kill. Huge headbutt pulverizer. Double kill going to come across Ryoma as he comes back into the fight with the triple. And members of Sin are like, can someone just die to get our Tristana in? No, big combo means it now. Dream will fall low. On the back end of this fight, huge Scion hammer. And the Rise just cleans up by the skin of their teeth.
Chiefs get the ace. A big on horn as they come out. Swiper buffers that ultimate, very nicely done. Dream is going to fall down, but Doink finally uses that as the ulti. However, they're going to look to go over with the Rise, and on the back end, it is only Praetor. It is only the tank. That'll be a triple kill picked up for Ryoma. 2 kills for Raze, and the Chiefs will look to push in an end. You can see they're just padding their KDA, picking up a couple of other kills. Dream will be able to get 1 reset. Get back to the fountain, buddy. You deserve to live, but he won't. Very nicely played.